There are roughly 7.5 million Etsy stores online, and over the past year, over 1 million of them have been shut down. But what makes that number even crazier is 225,000 of them were shut down in the past 3 months alone. So I wanted to get to the bottom of this and find out the real reason why this is happening. I've analyzed over 100 recently shut down stores, and what I found out is pretty interesting. Some of these stores have been open for over 10 years, and they've made Etsy hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees. And yet, their shop was gone faster than a toupee in a hurricane. So let's dig into this and find out why these stores are being closed. And before this video is over, I will make sure you don't end up on this list. Now, before I start seeing comments about new shops being shut down, let me cover that real quick for you. Most new shops are temporarily suspended while you confirm your bank account information or your identity. They started doing this to stop scammers on Etsy. This is also why they implemented that whole $15 startup fee. Also, beginning in 2024, the US now requires companies to gather your identification before any payments can be dispersed. Now, do I think suspending your account immediately is the correct course of action? No. But understanding the reason why is super important. The bad apples looking to scam people caused all of these issues. So screw those people. If something like that has happened to you and you live in the United States, check one of those two aspects, either your bank or identity. Then once you update that, submit your appeal. Sometimes you may have to submit that appeal several times. This I feel is a glitch in their system, and it's due to the overuse of AI. Now, if you live outside the US, 9 times out of 10, it's usually your bank account. Some bank accounts are actually not approved to be used on Etsy. So make sure you double check with them before you open up a shop or submit that appeal. Now, with that said, let's see why some of these top shops are being closed. What did they do? Why are they being closed now? And how can you stop this from happening to you? For this video, I'm going to be using etsyshop.ai. While digging around the internet, trying to gather this information and get to the bottom of this, I stumbled onto their software, and I immediately noticed that they actually provide insights onto why shops are being closed. So I bought a month's subscription to test it out. Now, I haven't played with the system much yet, so I'm sorry if you're looking for any sort of review, or if you're wondering how it compares to other softwares. If you do want me to cover that, just either send me an email or leave me a comment below and I'll make that video for you. I plan to mess around with this for the rest of the month, so just let me know. Now, after launching the program, you have an option called Closed Shops. Pretty convenient. This shows all the recent shops that have been shut down. You can then adjust the criteria to show when they opened, when they were closed, and you can even sort it by sales in the past 30 days, overall sales, reviews, date open, and all these other metrics that you may want to look at. Now for this, I'm going to start with just recent closures. I'm going to search up 3 months for the open date and close within the past 30 days. The first store that pops up is Cream Core. They were only open 38 days, but they had about 5,000 sales and 79 reviews. It's pretty impressive for such a short time frame. Digging a little deeper, I immediately saw that they had horrible reviews, which could be the whole reason why they were shut down. And yes, that is a thing. If your reviews do not meet the standards of Etsy, they will shut you down. So scrolling down, I noticed they were listing their items as handmade, which they're obviously not. This is a POD store. Moving on, this one popped out to me. They were clearly selling copyright material. Here is a Dallas Cowboy SVG that people can use for their tumblers or even t-shirts. And I don't even have to go far to see another one. Looking for a t-shirt company, I ended up stumbling on Juan Coco Apparel. Now immediately, I know that this is a POD store because of the mockups that they're using. They were in business for 58 days, 548 sales, and 35 reviews. Opening it up, it looks like they had pretty good reviews. They also had 1,600 items on sale. But again, these are listed as handmade. Knowing that these items are POD is very interesting to see that they listed them all as handmade. I'm not sure if they were expecting maybe a boost in sales or whatnot, but they should not have done that. So let's take a look at some of the older shops. I know you want to see some big names on here. We want to find shops that have been in business for over 10 years. Now to do this, I'm going to select 3 months and filter it by sales. Once this loads, you can see these stores are huge. They were clearly dominating the Etsy marketplace. So why did they get shut down? BM25 is well known for its jewelry and has been on Etsy for over 10 years. They have over 464,000 sales with 105,000 reviews. Glitterwick Grace is very well known in the craft industry. They are, or were in this case, the top seller of faux leather since 2016. They have over 445,000 sales and 45,000 reviews. And then there's SCY, Strong Confident You. I've actually bought from this company before. They've been in business since 2012. They have over 346,000 sales and 63,000 reviews, and 746 sales in the past month. Breaking down those numbers, that means that they made roughly $18,000 before they were closed. Honestly, it's astonishing to see companies like this and that size on the list. And I bet you're just as shocked as I am. Now, Etsy does not play favorites like everybody seems to think. If you violate their policy, you're gone, no matter how much you've made them in the past. They don't care. They are very strict on their policies. And you'll notice that all three of these companies had one thing in common. They all claim to have multiple handmade items in their stores. Now, if I scroll down, you can see they were updating their listings and trying to reflect the new policy changes Etsy put in place. Now, if you're unaware of these changes, just give me a minute and I'll explain. The big thing I want to point out though is that they were updating their listings. However, they weren't quick enough, and Etsy's AI system caught up with them. I mean, after all, they did have 3 months, so it's kind of on them. Now, as you may have noticed, there's a huge trend here. I'm not going to drag you through all 100 shops that I looked at, but after going through all these different stores, they all had one thing in common. A majority of them, 85%, claimed that their items were handmade. Another 10% or so were copyright or trademarked items. And then the remaining 5 was just random. Etsy updated their policy back in July, and again just last month in September. They now require you to disclose how the items are made. They want to know if you make them yourself or if somebody else makes them. They also want to know the process in which you create the designs. Now, I cover all of this in this video. I walk you through all the steps of creating a listing to make sure that you don't end up closed or on a list like one of these companies. I'll also leave the link for the video in the description. Since the video covers other aspects, I would suggest that you watch the entire thing. Now, with all that said, you're probably wondering, okay, what should I do? Should I be worried? Now, I'm not here to cuddle you and tell you, oh, everything's going to be okay. You should be scared, and you should be worried. And if I were you, I would race to update your listings today before your name and company end up on this list. Now, I completely understand it may be a hassle, and some of you have hundreds, if not thousands, of items listed in your store. But if you put it off, like these companies, then you're going to end up regretting it later. So run, don't walk. And before I end this video, so many new changes are being implemented, especially for Q4. So make sure you watch this video as well. Staying ahead of these changes are important, and it's actually what separates the winners from the losers. I hope that this video clarified what the majority of shops are being closed for and how to stop it from happening. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. You know I love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon.